Yeah, because I love my brand. I love what I'm putting out there. I want people to feel that way too. I want you to feel that way, where you're like, I can't wait to share this with the world because I love it so much. I love absolutely every piece of it. I think that's the part for me that I feel liberated and light. And
You're listening to the Love and Life Liberation Podcast. Today, our topic is brand camp.
Hi, welcome to Love and Life Liberation. My name is the beautiful Swan, and I have here today with us Paul.
Puzanoski.
And what he's going to be doing is sharing a little bit of his story of how he became a brand strategist who works with heart-centered entrepreneurs. And he'll be able to share his story of what brought him to that space.
Awesome.
Paul, I heard you are in the process of creating a brand camp program. You list about 8 points highlighting what you get with me. I'd like to expand on 2 points. The first one is you've lived it at every level, from building multi-million-dollar companies to bootstrapping. Tell us a little bit about this.
Paul's story.
I'll try and give the shortest version possible. My gut is to rewind and go back to the beginning of my career. Like many people, I started with the notion of, I need to go make money. I need to have all this abundance and cars and vehicles. And so with that, my first business I started when I was 21, which was a temp agency. I had this success. I built it to a few $1 million a year and was in my early 20s, mid 20s, making a few $100,000 a year. The business was doing 3 million, I think, after my third year. And I guess where I bring that into relevance is I realized really quickly that I was out of purpose and out of alignment. And despite having this external success, I found myself in a place where I was just very suicidal. Most days felt pointless. I did the things that are supposed to make me happy. I got the house, I got the cars, I got all the things. So now what? And so the reason I bring that up is it put me in this place of crisis. And I think a lot of people can relate to that, where we go through the world, we do these things that we think we're supposed to do, our parents tell us to do, society tells us to do, and then we crash. I told my wife, I'm either checking myself in somewhere or I'm not going to be here. I found a retreat in Sedona. I did 5 days in Sedona and 3 sessions a day, breath work, constellation work, different somatic pieces and all kinds of things. And again, at the time, I didn't really know what they are. Now I do. But all I knew was, man, I feel way better. And at the end of that, I went from being suicidal to, I remember being in the shower and going, I feel the connection, everybody and everything through the water, and just being so shifted in a way. And so for me, that really planted the seed in terms of living with purpose. And it was my oldest, who's now going on 20. He was just little, I want to say 2 or 3. And we were talking about money. And he said, Dad, it's not about the money. It's about what you do to make the money. It hit me so hard. Fast forward, I've done quite a few different things. I've always been creative. So I sold that business in 2010, started up an ad agency. I've done fundraising and helped raise millions across Canada. My purpose. And this was after running retreats and helping people for years, of taking all that and going, okay, so I understand branding, I understand marketing, I understand being an entrepreneur. And really what I love is where I'm at now with launching this brand camp is helping people go from the place of clutter or confusion, or even maybe they've hired an agency or they don't even know where to start sometimes, or they've started, but they're just stalled and all those ideas are there. It's a place where we teaches you how to be an entrepreneur. And I'm grateful. My dad was an entrepreneur. I come from a line of entrepreneurs in my family. And to me, it's normal. It's who I've always been. It's what I've always seen. Yeah, just to summarize all that, it's for me, it really, I believe, is my purpose and my passion to help people and to be in service of those impacting the world. And it really is my passion. If I can help reach more people or somebody else doing somatic work or breath work or permaculture, whatever it might be, improving this earth, I want to see them succeed and really do that with a brand that embodies them in a sense. And where they look at it and you're just so fucking stoked, and excuse my language if it offends anybody, it's going to happen again, but it's really where it's, you've got, whether it's your website, you have an offer that you're so excited to share. And it's just like this full body fuck yes when you look at it. And so that's really my passion, is helping people create that, helping entrepreneurs create that.
What sets Paul apart?
So it's very interesting. I love hearing about your background. And I know that you come from a long line of business entrepreneurs. There is a quote from your dad that you use all the time, or what you learned from him. And it is, no one will ever care about your business as much as you do. For your branding piece, what is it that you have to offer that's different from the next person's branding, their business?
Sure. Yeah, I guess going back to what my dad taught me, it was a hard lesson in a lot of ways. And I could go into a whole bunch of stories of I always thought if I incentivize people, if they can go make, if I pay them 100 grand a year, of course they'll go do the job. And maybe it's a cliche example. Probably nobody cares as much about Apple as Steve Jobs, right? He's going to inspire people, and his vision is his vision. And same with any entrepreneur, and whether it's to heal people or make impact here or there, it's really hard to get that translated, let's say. And so sometimes I think what I've heard is I'm learning through feedback from clients and people where they're like, and I think you said this to me, where it's, yeah, you have a gift for reading in between the lines and seeing things that people don't see. And it really is my passion of going, how do we take this thing and embody it and into something that translates and that people care about and connects? And because at the end of the day, whether it's branding or marketing, it's connection, it's human connection. And so my passion is really bringing that energetically back to its basic function.
Paul's turning point, deciding to live with more freedom.
I wanted to ask you, what was the turning point for you in regards to how you had been living and what made you choose to live the way that you do now? At the end of the day, by having information about the brand camp, how does it liberate the person in regards to accessing more freedom for themselves in regards to daily living?
It's really what I've seen is that there's a beauty in all the conversations I've had today. And this is where I'll send you my new branding, which has no logos. I'll literally send you what I wrote. That's the messaging. That's what connects. And I've even practiced what I preach and get really clear on it and niche it down. And it's not for people just starting out. They have something, they've already been in motion, but feel stalled. The big takeaway is at the end of it, people have a brand and an offer that's a full body fuck yes. I can't wait to send it to you. And I know it can help you. I'm so clear on it. And I love it so much that I don't even care that it's not even a website yet. It's just some words, but they're not just words. It's really an offer that I love. And that's
Right.
the brand. That's the promise. That's the value. And that is number one. What I'm offering is I want people to feel that way too. People are at point A and point B, and I'm at point B. I love my brand. I love what I'm putting out there. I want people to feel that way too. I think that's the part for me that I feel so liberated and light. You could probably feel it even since last time we talked. Now that I've got this clarity and I'm like, yeah, that's it. And that's a really nice feeling to have. What an entrepreneur doesn't want to be so stoked that it doesn't feel like sales. It just feels like you're doing people a favor by offering what you have.
We're taught a certain way to sell, but if you're actually a true salesperson, you actually are able to gather information in regards to what it is that the client needs. So when you come up with a solution that matches what it is that they need or want, then it's actually not a sale. It actually makes sense to them in regards to how it would benefit their life. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, especially when it's from a genuine place. And going back to you're talking about sales, I think about relationships, right? If you're
Right.
a relationship from a need or an empty place, you're probably not going to have the healthiest partnerships. When I'm so grounded and I'm just so focused on me and I'm so full and I'm not lacking, there comes an amazing partner I never expected because I wasn't seeking.
Challenging the definition of branding. Your brand isn't your logo.
I learned a little bit from a couple of my conversations today. She's hired a bunch of different people to do logos over the years, and it's never once felt like her. And that's where I said, your brand isn't your logo. She was like, oh my God, completely shifting what people think it is that's really my passion at the bottom of it all. It's shifting what you think it is. The mindset shift, right? First and foremost. And that's where challenging people's definition of branding. So branding isn't your logo. It's not your website. It's not those things. Those are components of it. But it's like saying, I'm my outfit. I'm not my outfit. I have a personality. I have things to say. I have tone. I have context. I have all these pieces that make me a brand or a person. It's the same with your business, right? And quite often, that's probably the biggest mistake I see is people jumping into the logo, jumping into the website without building those foundational pieces. And I use this analogy quite often where I say it's getting booked for a keynote speech and you're so worried about what you're going to wear, but you haven't decided what you're going to say. You're not working on your speech and you haven't even thought, did you think to ask? You're just like, yeah, sign me up. Let's do it. Are you asking who's the audience? Who am I talking to? Who are my people? And as importantly, what's the value I can deliver? How do I serve? How do I, at the end of the day, what is the result I'm giving them? How do I make people want to feel? And really, to me, that's a brand. And then let's make it pretty after. Let's get you a good outfit where you stand on the stage and everybody's like, yeah, this person looks real cool. And I like what they have to say. For me, with Brand Camp, I had to get it to a place where I believe in it so wholeheartedly that I know it will help people. And they say yes or no. That's on them. It's like, I'm not attached to it.
Developing the foundation for brand sentiment, getting clear on our story and our people.
I know that speaking from my experience as an entrepreneur, a lot of times all we have is a dream and we need help translating that vision. In your brand camp, what are some of the steps that you would take to implement those pieces so that they can share their vision?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's just really getting clear on it and the tone. And I know I mentioned it already, is what is the result? What is the value of, even with what I do? For me, it's I want people to love their brand and I want their clients to connect to it. That's so when we get stuck in process and other things, that's where we get lost. And that's where we get hung up on the logo and how it looks. I think first and foremost, it's getting clear, which I know sounds simple, but it's not always. And really, what we're getting clear on our story and our people. So that's definitely always step one. Is yeah, who are my people? What do I want to say, and why am I saying it? And what is the point? Right? What is the result? What is the outcome I want people to have? And from there, it gets easier. Where then we can start figuring out the aesthetics and how it looks. And when that foundational piece is there, though, it's if I have a really good message, it doesn't matter if I send it via Telegram, if I send it on a carrier pigeon or an Instagram. If it's something that I've decided you're my people and I say it and you hear it, now we've got resonance. Now we've got connection. And that to me, again, that's the foundational piece that is missing from almost every client who I end up working with, because they usually have what they think is a brand, but they don't like it. And that's the piece that's missing, is the story. It's learning how to tell a story, how to connect. It's the same, again, you can put on the outfit and go to the networking thing. And I know that makes a lot of people cringe, me too, but we're just connecting with people. The more authentic we are, my experience, the more I just show up, I'm real, I'm raw, I'm not wearing a mask, I find my people, because I'm not showing up inauthentically. I can't stress that enough. That's the key with our brand. We need to show up authentically. With that, we become less seeking and more magnetic, where we call in the right people. When we do that, it doesn't feel gross or salesy to go, hey, look at this, because we're like, this is me and I love me. I love what I'm offering and I'm so stoked about it. And I love what it says and how it looks. That's the core of brand camp, who your people are and what you want to say.
Suvan's story, putting puzzle pieces together in the dark.
It's not just me and you, but a lot of people that I've been talking to have said to me that they have no clue what they're doing. I've said it to you too, like how I feel like I'm putting puzzle pieces in the dark and I have no clue what I'm doing. I have no clue. You know how when you put together a puzzle piece, you have a box, you know what you're doing. Sometimes now I can see the box, but for the longest time, I had no clue what I was putting together. I just knew that I was being guided to go to a certain direction. And then after a while, I was able to start seeing what it is that I was trying to create. Maybe this will help them save time and money, because I've spent so much time and money. So maybe that's a good point too, to share with people that are in the process of seeking help.
If you have the message, the clear, the results you want to offer, then all that other stuff gets really easy, right? When the foundational piece is there, your story, again, what is the result? Figuring out your niche, who are your people, right? With this business and this vision, what is the result? And I know vaguely what it is, but it's like, really, how are we doing that? And how do we speak to people? I'll be really blunt out of love. You keep getting ahead of yourself, but I still see you don't have the foundation. You don't have the full story clear of this is who I am, this is who I serve, and this is the result they get.
Maybe that is the story.
That's what I think I said to you before, where I'm like, it's not, oh, it has to be this and it's definitive. And I think that's where I'm encouraging you to step into the spotlight and let go of that judgment, because that's the story. You're like, I don't fucking know what I'm doing. Here's me. This is my intention, though. And if you join this community, this is the result. We're going to grow together. Right. And also, that's my passion around brand camp too, is we're going to clarify. And by the end of it, you're going to be like, this is it. And this is how we structure it. What won't change is how you want to connect with people, the result you want to give them. You want them to feel empowered to, and again, I'm making stuff up, but you want them to also let go of judgment, be okay that their story isn't done, make them feel really good and feel light and liberated that, oh my God, I don't have to figure it all out. It's not necessarily about the destination, it's about the journey. And so let's go on this journey together. And that's our brand. That's what we do.
Liberation is the freedom to express yourself authentic without judgment. I'm just holding the space for it. But for me, the work that I'll be doing is I'm actually going to be facilitating. I'm actually going to be doing workshops all over the world, not just workshops, but retreats, all of that. All those pieces go hand in hand. And that's actually about sharing information, educating. Yeah, it is community too, but it's about spreading the word, the possibility of being able to live a better life, break out of whatever place you're in. If you're ready, the people have to be ready. If they're in that space where they can't see out, Spirit told me it's not for me to intervene. Sometimes they need to go through the pain. That's a part of their journey. I can only work with people that, same with you, you can only work with people that have businesses ready. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's the clarity piece that comes into play.
Starting with a dream, have a desire to make it happen, lean into your life experiences for fuel, and make it not feel like work.
It's been such a learning curve. And I almost feel, for me personally, that I had to go through all those challenges or struggles so that in the future, when I am, because I'll be working with businesses too, I actually want to put together like how to start a business for the basic beginners. And I put together a course where it like literally breaks everything down, because I realized that they'll send me a YouTube video and I'm like, oh, I go, that's not going to help. That's what I'm going to be sharing with people. Break it down. It's like all I have is a vision. And that's another thing too, is as an entrepreneur, it's kind of, that's all you have is a dream.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to not dream and just to go through, get a regular job and know and have stability. But
I would, if I can offer another thought, have much more than a dream and a vision. Number one, you have a desire to make it happen. That is a key element. And you also have an entire lifetime of experience. And I think it's important to value that. And I can say that wholeheartedly firsthand, where I'm like, okay, what did I learn going door to door, selling alarm systems? Like all these little pieces, all of that. You have your sales experience. You have all these things that, again, once you have the core of it there, like you can take all these things you've learned over the years, and this is enough. And it goes back to what I said earlier. You don't have to be ready to start. You just have to start to be ready.
yeah, for me, for the last few years before I started putting everything together, I was on hiatus. Like I just ran around playing. So for me, going back to putting together structure, I felt like I had to make a choice. I felt like I was going to lose my freedom. Yeah, but I've learned how to work with it.
Breaking the indecision spin cycle.
If you have an entrepreneur that's on the fence about moving forward, how would you overcome their objection? Because sometimes entrepreneurs don't know what they're doing and feel like they're lacking direction. I've seen they go through that spin cycle, chasing their own tail. How would you interrupt that looping that they're going through and redirect them?
Yeah, it's tough to say because it's usually a very individual experience of what might be someone's block. Quite often it is just overwhelm because we have a vision in our head. We have a rough idea where we want to go, but it just feels overwhelming. So I think simplifying things, get rid of the clutter and starting with what is the problem and how do I solve it? I think that's the easiest place to start to simplify it, to get out of your own way, and just really always come back to that, because there's so many moving parts and pieces. Why am I doing this? Why should people care? And what is the problem and how am I solving it? That's why I hire other people, because sometimes we're in our own shit and it's hard to see. It's nice just to have an outside perspective. Hey, I'm seeing this. You might not be seeing it because you're in it. You're in the trench of your business, your vision. And so it's nice to have somebody pull that out of you.
Identifying Siobhan's pain points. Tech phobia, finding clients, and overcoming deep-seated insecurities.
At this point of where you're at, what would bring the most value, or what do you feel are your biggest obstacles or hurdles or things that need to be cleaned up, or just where could you use the most support?
Right now, it's actually the tech piece, the organization piece. With the launch party, it's like, how am I going to put it together? I'm going to do it on Zoom. Just keep it simple. I guess there's a fear within me with the tech piece. When something goes wrong, when it's stop thinking about that piece, think about everything that's going to go right. See a lot of people coming together, gathering, sharing information from the experience.
Yeah.
That was the hardest piece. I was given the vision, a multi-dimensional vision. How do you take something that's out here and then ground it and make it 3D, third dimensional, where people can access it in a easier way or format. So that's been it's been a challenging piece for me. But it's here, it exists now, whereas before it was just still up in the air. So what I saw is doable. Yeah. What came to me too is a lot of people are already aware of it, and the information that I'm sharing with you, you already knew. So if you already know about it, then chances are there's a lot of people out there that are going to intuitively understand it already. And then another thing too is with clients and stuff, it's like, how do you get people? And from the what came to me from the very beginning, okay, so as a healer, I didn't seek it. It actually came to me. And then by default, that's why I tell people by default, I go, nobody goes to college and says, when I grow up, I want to be a healer. I realized that too with clients. We all vibrate at a certain frequency. And when there's a match, the universe intuitively brings the pieces together. So I trust that when everything like the launch, all of the people that are meant to come to celebrate, the information will be given to them, however it is that the universe, I'm going to let the universe take care of that piece because yeah, I can do many things. It's like my bandwidth is only so much, but if I let the universe take care of it, then yeah.
Okay. No, that makes sense. I'm not trying to sell you on brand camp by any means, but I'll tell you where I know it can help. One is the clarity piece for sure, because I still think that's being refined,
Right.
even if it's anything from what to do in the interviews and the videos. The other piece I heard you say, if I'm hearing it correctly, is the tech piece. Well, we have a group call every week. We're working through framework and structure to make sure that everything's dialed in. And then on top of that, I'll send you looms and you can check in and be like, hey, how do I fix this? And I'll send a video. I would still obviously do this with you and get very clear, is have a call beforehand. So we get really clear. And that's why I'm asking these questions. We'll dive into more of these things of, okay, what are the biggest hurdles in your way? What are the areas you get stuck? What do you like to do? What do you hate to do? Then we know for the 8 weeks or beyond, we're mapping out exactly here's where you are. And this is how we get to where at the end of it, you've got the solutions, whether it's tech or whatever. And then obviously at the end of the day too, it's how do you have your branding to where you're like, I fucking love this. Again, where it's like that full body fuck yes, where it's you see it and then the people, it's translated into this 3D where the people that are meant to see it are like, they're also like, fuck yeah, I need to sign up for this, or I need to join, or I need to do whatever.
You're right about that. I still don't have clarity. Still don't have that clear voice. I've gotten a lot better about it, but there's still this piece of me, and I know that even within myself, it's like sometimes we hide parts of ourselves, even from ourselves, and for a reason, there's still parts of myself that's still hiding or shy, what it is, and it's like if Swan comes out as full Swan, there's that judgment piece.
That's a big piece of embodying it. Nobody will ever care as much about your business as you do. And it's the same as nobody will ever care as much about this vision or see it the way you do. So you have to bring it into this world and guide that and step into that place where you're like, I'm going to say this and let go of those stories from childhood and the judgment. Yeah. Because guess what? People are always judging you. We're judging each other right now, but we've decided we like each other. That's why I laugh at the word like, oh, don't judge. We all judge. You're making a decision. You're analyzing. You're taking in data and going, this is what I believe now based on what I've seen.
I know for me, one of the biggest struggles is I'm so used to, so in the Asian culture, it's like the woman supports the man. Like we play the backup role. And it's not that the women are weak. They're very strong in their own way, but they'll step aside to let the man have the credit or get the credit. And I realized that too, like that indoctrination is so deeply embedded within me. And I was like, oh my fucking God, get over that programming. How liberating would it be if all of those programs no longer dictated you and told you what to do? Then you can actually operate from you. That would be true freedom. You don't really care what the next person thinks of you. It doesn't matter because I have the right to be me, whatever that looks like.
I can honestly say that's probably one of the biggest things I've worked on is just I love everybody and I care about everybody. Well, and again, that's where the one-on-ones are there, right? So if there's something particular that's coming up and somebody's blocked, let's jump on our one-on-one call and dive into it, right? One thing that might be totally holding up somebody is stuck on this technical piece here, right? I think that's where I love. There's a general process and structure that works, but then catering it to you.
That's where the piece becomes a little bit more challenging.
To me, that's exciting because I'm good at it. And that's to me the value, right? Less talking, more doing. We're just going to start doing. And I know how to do it because I do it all day, every day. That's what I do for a living. And I get to work with you or whoever, any of my clients who come through Brand Camp, and I'm going to show you how to do it so you don't get stuck. And if you are, I'll send you the thing too, because I'm really excited about it, because that's where I'm going to do like Loom calls. I'll send a little 10, 15-minute video. Yeah, that's how you fix it. Boom, here you go.
Maintaining integrity while growing. The importance of a solid foundation.
I was thinking about how it's integrity. Once you start growing bigger, how do you still maintain that? Because I was thinking about people that are big, like Joe Dispenza or Greg Braden. How are they still be able to be true and with integrity in regards to how they're going about their work?
Yeah. I think I can answer that for me. And I'll go all the way again back to what is the result I want to offer? What is the value I'm giving? And if anything compromises that, so if I take on 50 people and at the end of it, I'm spread so thin, they don't feel they're actually supported, and they don't end up with a brand where they're like full body fuck yes, then I'm not in integrity.
I look forward to once the structure is in place, the love and life liberation piece is operating independently, it's self-sustaining, then I can let go of it and then I can go. And I have to be discernment. I have to be careful with who I bring on board as a practitioner, because if I bring the wrong person on, it's going to compromise the integrity of the business. I want people, when they think of resources in regards to well-being, think of love and life liberation as the best resource, the brand for it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's going to be like a library or archives of sorts in regards to everything, whether it's podcast or travel tips or cooking shows. Right now, I'm just putting down the pace.
That's where I wholeheartedly want to support you, where it doesn't feel overwhelming. That foundation there, because once you have that core, is this in alignment with the foundation? Is this in alignment with this ultimate goal and value? And if it's not, it's really easy. You can make decisions really quickly. Does this serve me, the business, the people I serve? Nope. Boom, done.
Final takeaways.
So basically, what is the takeaway we want the audience to have in regards to your brand camp? For the 3 best takeaways, which ones do you feel are the most pivotal pieces to moving the business forward?
Step 1, embody and normalize. Become the version of the entrepreneur you want to be now.
Yeah, I think the first thing we need to do is become that version of that entrepreneur and not future plan that, if that makes sense. If you want to be a coach, you need to embody that energy now and make decisions from that place, not from the scarcity mindset. That's number one thing. Because if you don't believe it, you're going to change the world, you're the best coach, you're the best facilitator, you're the best, whatever, your product is going to change lives. You have to embody that and step into that. So you have to be to become. And you also have to become a different version of yourself. So what brought you to this point is very valuable because that's who you are, but you also have to become new version to rise to that new level. You have to become that person and embody that and step into it and make decisions from that place. So if you are making decisions from that scarcity mindset or that old version of yourself, you can't become the new version. You need to step into that new version or future version of yourself that you're aspiring to be and own that. If this client or people I want to work with, what would me 5 years from now with all the success I imagined, would they say yes or no to working with this client?
Step 2, decide. Make a firm decision about your plans.
Making decisions as an entrepreneur is the most valuable thing you could ever do, and just trusting it. And so that's where we get stuck in analysis paralysis. And so as soon as we just decide, you just find a way. When you decide, if you decide you want to move somewhere, you decide and it happens. And so it's the same in your business. As soon as you decide, and again, it doesn't have to be that black and white. You can set a plan in place to say 3 months from now, I'm done and I'm out. And so that's where decision making, you won't see any successful entrepreneurs that haven't mastered decision making.
Step 3, take action. Put your plans in motion and trust.
And what's step 3?
Step 3, I think it's decide, become, and then do. We always think we have to be ready, right? And so that's the biggest thing. Is like, you're ready. You're always ready. You don't have to be ready to start, but you have to start to be ready. And so the moment you going back to deciding, you decide, I'm going to start. And so you're not always ready. But when that opportunity comes, because you've started, all of a sudden you're like, oh, yeah, I've already started doing this. I am ready for this opportunity. I am ready for this client. It doesn't happen overnight. It can for some people, but it goes back to becoming that, deciding it, and doing it, just starting. But almost every entrepreneur you'll ever talk to says, I wish I started sooner. And that's for a lot of people. And it's valid because we have our fears, we have our insecurities, and sometimes we're just collecting knowledge. But again, if you decide, I'm going to start, you've already started.
That's all, folks. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Leave it at that.
Now I feel bad that I've been wandering around and changed the angles, or I would have stayed in my for editing.
Oh, it's okay. You can be yourself, whatever that looks like.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
And finally, some bloopers.
Like time out and then take one. Come join us one time at brand camp. Time out, take two.
Full body fuck yes.
We had fun. We did stupid things, but it was great. One time in band camp.
Full body fuck yes.
Full body fuck yes. A full body fuck yes.
I fucking love this.